Siempre me enfoco al 100%. Tomo muy en serio lo que hago, mi disciplina como peleador. Estoy muy orgulloso de lo que he logrado. Es muy difícil, pero la verdad es que cuando amas algo no es tan complicado. He peleado con todos los estilos. He peleado con muchos peleadores más altos que yo, más grandes que yo. Pues he aprendido bastante, con mucha experiencia ya también. He hecho mucha historia. El boxeo es lastimar lo más que se pueda a tu rival. Esa es la primera parte del boxeo y eso es lo que uno trata de hacer desde que suena la campana. Y así será.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now set to meet our main event fighters. He is a 4-division world champion, Schaub Canelo Alvarez.
I feel the love, the support from my people.
The undisputed junior middleweight champion, Jermell Charlo. You need to go up 2 weight classes. You didn't think twice. Why is that?
Because there's no question. The world think Canelo the best in the world, right? I feel like I'm the best in the world. Now it's my turn, it's my time.
He have nothing to lose. He come in my weight division to come for everything.
And it's my moment, and I'm gonna shine when it's time for it.
I'm being in this position for a long time, and I'm ready.
I do this for the dogs, the hungry ones. I do it for the animals. I'm made for this.
I can say a lot of things, but I want to show you Saturday.
After I beat Canelo, they'll be screaming, Charlo, Charlo. You did.
You're going to see a different Canelo Saturday night.
This weekend, one of the biggest fights of the year is going down on Showtime. The legendary Canelo Alvarez versus my Texas brother, Jermell Charlo.
For the big fight, we're partnering with DraftKings, giving all new customers a can't-miss offer.
Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings app now. Use promo code SMOKE when you sign up.
Stack, what's your prediction for the big fight?
My heart's saying Charlo, but I know how experienced Canelo is. He's the face of boxing, and he's been in big fights before. I think it's going to go to a decision, and I think Canelo might pull it off.
New customers, you heard Stack. Download the DraftKings app now, use promo code SMOKE, and make your picks.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use promo code SMOKE. Bet $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SMOKE, only at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
It's a high-stakes duel in the desert this Saturday as the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, plays home to a historic super middleweight title bout, undisputed versus undisputed, when Canelo Alvarez puts his 4 super middleweight world titles on the line against reigning and defending junior middleweight king Jermell Charlo. My name is Brian Campbell. This is Luke Thomas. We are the co-hosts of the award-winning Showtime Digital Combat Sports Series, Morning Combat, and excited to lead the charge today as Showtime Sports presents here on Fight Week on the grounds at the MGM Grand, the final press conference between Canelo and Charlo. We're going to hear from the two combatants, maybe go face-to-face for the first time since a 2-city press tour that set it up. Canelo Promotions presents, of course, this Premier Boxing Champions pay-per-view card that will air exclusively Saturday from T-Mobile Arena on Showtime pay-per-view. Luke Thomas, so much history at stake, so much daring to be great when we're talking about Jermell Charlo, not older brother Jermall, moving up 2 weight divisions here to accept this challenge. What's the biggest piece of the prize that's at stake when we look at this for Saturday night?
Speaking of the prize, by the way, if you want to buy this pay-per-view, showtime.com/PPV. But I'll tell you what I'm looking at here is both guys, to the words you used, daring to be great, but in very, very different ways. Jermell Charlo, obviously already undisputed at 154 pounds, jumping up 2 weight classes. There's some dispute about actually who's bigger, whether it's that kind of a jump in the same way, but nevertheless, you have the 168-pound reigning king in Canelo Alvarez welcoming another undisputed champion jumping up 2 weight classes. And a guy like Charlo has done very, very well. But in many cases, like the Tony Harrison series or the Brian Castano series, took him a couple cracks at it to really overcome. And he did. He looked tremendous in both of those rematches. You're not going to get that with Canelo Alvarez. You have to show up on Saturday night, ready to go. And this is the house, basically, that Canelo Alvarez built. Hard to win rounds against him in this city because, by the way, he's very good. And also he's an institution here. This is Jermell Charlo, chips in the middle, saying, I know this is finally my time to round that corner. And he wants respect from the boxing world. If he beats Canelo, he's going to get it.
This is like a Hall of Fame passport stamp for Charlo with a victory here. Fresh off 16 months ago, becoming the first 4-belt undisputed champion in 154-pound history. Now making the leap like so many great fighters have done in the past. The Roy Joneses, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Thomas Hearns, moving up 2 weight divisions. And in this case, taking on one of the best in the sport, really one of the all-time greats, just a month removed from the 10-year anniversary, by the way, on these grounds of when Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather. 10 years later, Canelo's still the biggest star in this game, and we are just 3 precious days away from Saturday's undisputed versus undisputed clash between Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo. But we teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you all closer to the action throughout today's press conference. Don't forget to download the DraftKings app and sign up using the promo code Main Event. We'll be tossing to the stage shortly as we look to see what we can get from this, the final press conference here on Fight Week. But Luke, you and I were on hand in the New York stop on this 2-day press tour, which kicked it off. And the surprise, at least to Canelo, to fans, maybe to us media members, as we saw a cool, calm, and collected Jermell Charlo, the same one through 2 episodes of Showtime's award-winning all-access pre-fight documentary series, has been more about, I belong here, this is my moment. Heck, he said, I've been chasing Canelo my entire career. I don't think that's a fact you skip over. This is an opponent who's coming into a clash with Canelo. This may be just another big fight for Canelo, despite the historic elements of it, undisputed versus undisputed. But Jermell Charlo has been envisioning this moment really since he turned pro back in 2007.
And listen, Jermell Charlo is the 154-pound undisputed king and is well respected, but I don't think he's gotten all the respect that he believes that he has deserved, he and his brother. And at times in the boxing world, they've kind of demanded it, with some of the folks inside the boxing community resisting those demands, saying you haven't quite crossed the threshold, you haven't quite got that. Well, BC, I don't need to be the guy to tell you that if, in fact, he does cross that threshold and he does beat Canelo Alvarez, all of the respect that he's been looking for will finally arrive. You're bringing up New York and how Jermell was cool, calm, and collected. That's what he has to be. The demanding of the respect didn't work. You owe it to me. Those proclamations didn't work. So let's try the other method. Let's dial it back. Let's focus on the craft. Let's focus on the task at hand. You know he's good. He earned this position. And let's put all of our resources, let's marshal those forces towards a more productive end, which is scoring what would be, frankly, something of a historic upset if you can do that on Saturday night at the T-Mobile Arena. I think that is why he has been much more respectful, and also he respects Canelo's career. Canelo has done a lot. He even said on the, I think it was episode 1 or 2 of All Access, they were both 21 years old and Golden Boy Promotions at the same time. Canelo went this way, and Charlo, of course, has ascended, but not at the same meteoric rate. But now they arrive in the same position. Huge stakes on Saturday.
It may have been happenstance that Jermell's twin brother Jermall, the WBC middleweight champion, wasn't quite ready when he got the call for this matchup with Canelo. He still looms as a potential future opponent for Canelo Alvarez, win or lose here in Saturday's fight. But Jermell Charlo has been working for this for a while. He has earned it. He has gone the long way, of course, in becoming the first 4-belt champion, 154 pounds, which makes this matchup intriguing and historic from the standpoint that we're in this 4-belt era. We're in the 3rd decade of it, and this is the first time 2 reigning and defending male undisputed champions will face off against one another. And for Canelo, he'll be looking to become the first boxer in this 4-belt era to make 3 title defenses of all 4 of those titles. It's hard enough to secure them, even harder to defend them. But Canelo has made this 168-pound division his own in recent years, of course, becoming that first undisputed status when he stopped Caleb Plant, beating all champions in the same calendar year to do it. We've seen him moonlight at 175 before. Heck, we've seen him in 4 divisions win world titles. But if this is the deepest, most exciting division in the sport, which you can argue super middleweight is, we're just dropping in Jermell Charlo. maybe not getting the full respect like you said, Luke, but in and around the top 10 pound-for-pound window for a while, certainly since that comeback win against Brian Castano in the rematch of their disputed draw to earn this undisputed status. But Luke Thomas, I want to stay right there because for Jermell Charlo to win, it's going to have to be an underdog run here. Canelo's earned that. He's 2 divisions higher. There's some questions, right, that both fighters are going to have to answer, including this layoff for Jermell Charlo. But in Charlo's 2, if you want to say blemishes of his pro career, the disputed decision loss to Tony Harrison for the title back in 2018, and of course that 2021 first meeting with Brian Castano, that was a very controversial draw. When his back is against the wall, Jermell Charlo delivers. He carries his power late into fights. He carries his punch output late into fights. Is his back against the wall here? Well, yeah, he's a fairly solid betting underdog. But we talked about if this doesn't come down to size, this could come down to skill, it could come down to fire. And right now, even though Canelo's still largely on top of the world, a little bit of whispers about his 3-fight streak that he's on. Is it still the same guy at age 33? This would be the wrong night if he's not. If he's not that guy anymore, this is the wrong night against the wrong opponent.
I mean, just think about it logically, right? Is this the very biggest fight of Canelo's career? We're talking about 10 years ago. He fought Mayweather. Folks, we were there for that. That was a huge contest. That's not to diminish this weekend. This is a big one as well. My only point is this is not necessarily the biggest fight of Canelo's career, but ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest night of Jermell Charlo's career by a country mile. And so, if there is anything to be said, I mean, listen, what's one of the hardest things to do in boxing and combat sports more generally? It's to stand a post with a world title and welcome the #1 guy after #1 guy as they try to take it from you. There's so much tape on Canelo. Yes, he's experienced, but we've seen Canelo and his good and his bad tested through every different kind of medium, every different kind of unique challenge. We know how he's going to react, at least we think we do, at this semi-senior stage in his career. Jermell Charlo gets to pick up on all of those things, gets to get the benefit of the 360 view, so to speak, of everything that's happened in Canelo's career, and then put that together to make a great game plan. You also kind of alluded to the fact that, listen, when he fought Dimitri Bivol, who's 175 pounds, or at least the weight class is anyway, it was a little bit too much, right? He was a big dude. You could tell that was a really tall order for Canelo. But then he goes to Guadalajara, Mexico, in a beautiful event, by the way.
Homecoming.
That was fantastic. But he fights John Ryder, and he beats Ryder relatively easily, but he doesn't put him away, and that was a mandatory. And so folks begin to ask questions like, hey, wait a second. Was it just something of an off night? Was there something, just didn't quite go right? Or even though Canelo and Jermell Charlo are the same age at age 33, Canelo has significantly more miles, significantly more experience. Is that beginning to catch up right as Jermell Charlo is peaking? We're going to find out on Saturday.
Fair question, and I think you have to give credit to the great veteran, the Mexican icon in Alvarez. He's dealt with those questions up front and honest in the build of this fight and said, I agree with you folks. I haven't been exactly the same guy over the past couple of years. Now, the excuse, if it is one or maybe it's just a reason, is justified. A left hand injury that he felt did not allow him to train at full speed. And I think the biggest sort of eye-opener in the 3 fights, the loss to Bivol, the 2 close decision wins over an aging Golovkin and then against John Ryder, is we didn't see Canelo in the second half of the fight do Canelo things, which is come on, be the fresher fighter. Yes, he sort of coasted. Yes, he was ahead. But I think even in that Golovkin trilogy, Triple G made a last stand effort to try to bring it on at the end. When fighters age, sometimes it's just that. The inability to keep up with somebody a little bit younger and hungrier for the full 3 minutes of the round. Will we see a new Canelo that bounces back? Or is this the wrong fight at the wrong time? Which if you're backing the upset bid of Jermell Charlo, you'd have to believe that would play a part in it. Because Charlo is coming on. Just comes down to, what about the chin of Charlo? What about the punching power of Charlo? Will that carry up to 168 pounds? I talked to Derek James, the star-studded trainer of Jermell Charlo, and the one thing he said was everybody can talk about the size they want. This is really 2 junior middleweights at the end of the day. Jermell always big for this division. Heck, I remember the days when we thought Canelo was maybe too small for middleweight. He's gone on to defiantly show us that that's not true, knocking out Sergey Kovalev, as we talk about, in one of his biggest fights a few years back to win a title at 175. But the 4-inch height advantage for Charlo, the 2.5-inch reach advantage, we expect him to bulk up a bit from that 154-pound frame and have the room to do that. This is somebody that maybe sometimes if there's a critique against Charlo, he doesn't throw enough punches, but I've heard him talk about that jab and the importance of it. Charlo comes on. He fights like a predator. He fights like a hunter. He comes to win. I don't know if you can necessarily say that about every Canelo opponent we've seen. Some skilled guys, some guys that bring different things to the table. Do they bring the exact package of speed, power, guile that Charlo brings? Heck, this could be an interesting matchup.
I mean, he's fought a lot of guys who have what Jermell Charlo has, but not in the same quantity or proportion. Right? I mean, I think we need to be fair to Canelo's experience. He's seen it all, or pretty close to it, just given what you can get out of 60-plus boxing fights. The question is, on this particular day, on that Saturday, what is he going to have to offer? He did have the hand surgery after the last contest, and he now believes he's going to be ready to use that more nimbly. But Jermell Charlo, I mean, here's what's good and bad about his chances. I talked to Stephen Breadman Edwards, and he was pointing out Charlo has something of a clutch gene. Like, you look at the second Harrison fight, he was losing the majority of those rounds, but what happened is power carried late, that left hook, one of the best left hooks in all of boxing, and it won him the fight. You can say the same with Brian Castano, stopped him in the 10th, although that one was a bit more back and forth as a pitched battle. It wasn't so one-sided as the second Harrison fight. At the same time, Canelo Alvarez has dealt with guys just like that. He's dealt with guys who, by the way, can move. Erislandy Lara is a guy who can move quite well. He's a very different fighter than Jermell Charlo. I'm not saying they're the same kind of guy. I'm just saying Canelo is the 4-1 favorite here, again, as a betting favorite for a particularly good reason. He has seen a lot of the different things that Charlo offers. The big question to me, BC, is what does this Charlo look like at this weight?
Sure.
What does his power look like at this weight? What does his cardio look like at this weight? How fast is his footwork at this weight? Those, to me, are much more consequential questions that we just don't have an answer for. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, both top skilled fighters, both having elite trainers in the corner when we're talking about Derek James in the corner of Charlo, and, of course, Eddie Reynoso, part of the Reynoso team there of Team Canelo that has been there from day one, from the beginning for the 4-division star and icon. Charlo's certainly going to have to make a leap in terms of what we've seen in the past, but that's been the trend of late in his career. Does he have questions to answer? Yes. He had his own surgery on his left hand after injuring it in December of 2022. Boxing thought Jermell Charlo would have fought Tim Tszyu by now for all 4 of those belts in defense against the young second-generation Australian star. The hand injury has delayed Jermell's plans, twice delaying that bout. But the phone rang, and you got to give Jermell credit. They said Canelo on the other end. He said when, where, why, how. Let's do it right now. This is what's going to happen. So Charlo's going to have to answer the questions of a 16-month layoff, his own hand injury, and obviously that difference in size. But when you look at mileage, yes, experience for Canelo, but he's got more knockouts than Jermell Charlo even has fights. At one point, though, at what point does that catch up to him? Is this the night? We're going to have to find out. Certainly on Saturday night. Jermell Charlo, though, when you talk about what an overnight performance could do for his career and how we remember him. Terrence Crawford, who we saw against Errol Spence this summer in one of the biggest pay-per-view fights in a long time in terms of the stakes and prestige, he was already a Hall of Famer. But what he did to Errol Spence and how he did it in becoming the face of welterweight, the unbeaten, the undisputed champion, he turned into a star overnight. His legacy went from here to here. Jermell Charlo, who has gotten that quiet respect, certainly has the same opportunity with the prize at stake and no shortage of big names at 168. Is Terrence Crawford going to move up to 154? Is Errol Spence going to do the same? So much to talk about, so much at stake, and so much going on. But that's about it for us right here. We'll be back on the back end with interviews, with analysis to what we saw right behind us here. You're going to hear from the fighters, and you're going to hear it soon. Let's throw to the stage. Stay classy here at the Hall of Famer. Jimmy,
we're appreciative of the members of the press here joining us this afternoon, members of the press, not only across the United States, but across the world as well. And a very special welcome we extend to those of you watching across the globe, joining us on the line as we lead up to one of boxing's can't-miss marquee events. Well, without further ado, let's bring our principals to the stage at this time. First, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the defending world champion and the proud warrior from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. As the sport's popular pound for pound great really needs no introduction the world over, he is entering his 24th appearance in a world title fight. Here is the 4-division world champion, the reigning and defending undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome El Orgulloso Guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, introducing Saul Canelo Alvarez. And we have a change of program. The honor should be delivered to the defending world champion in this super fight. So please let me introduce to you at this time the challenger who is truly a champion in his own right. The challenger is a lion of boxing from Houston, Texas. One of boxing's exciting world champion twins. He'll be making his 10th appearance in a world title bout. Please welcome the two-time world champion, the current hard-hitting and acclaimed, undisputed 154-pound champion of the world. Here is Jermell Ironman Charlo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponent. He may not need an introduction the world over, but we're going to give him 2 introductions, well-deserved here this afternoon. Really needing no introduction, here he is in his 24th world title appearance, the 4-division world champion, the reigning, the defending, the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, El Orgulloso Guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo Alvarez. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Ironman Charlo. The main event, 12 rounds for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. And at this time, we invite the respective teams to join their fighters with them. On behalf of Canelo, we have his right-hand man, trainer and manager, Eddie Reynoso. And on behalf of Jermell Charlo, we have Joan Guzman, Derek James, world-class trainers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to introduce to you today's host for the press conference, the popular sports anchor, play-by-play commentator, the talented host of Showtime Championship Boxing, Brian Custer.
Thank you, Jimmy, Mr. Hall of Famer. Certainly, good afternoon, everybody, to the assembled press, to the hundreds of thousands watching all across the world. Welcome to Las Vegas. This is the final press conference for Canelo versus Charlo. I am Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing, and listen, the time is now. Time has come for Showtime Boxing, Showtime pay-per-view, to deliver what it has consistently done over this past year and for the past few decades, and that is deliver action-packed, big fight after big fight. And on Saturday, we are bringing you what constitutes as a mega fight, an intriguing one, because it's also an historical fight. One that I might add, for the first time in this four-belt era, we've got two undisputed champions, different weight divisions, facing off, and it's a matchup of two of the sport's pound-for-pound best, two of the sport's most explosive and exciting fighters. Canelo Alvarez, boxing's first undisputed super middleweight champion, putting all four belts on the line against Jermell Charlo, the undisputed junior middleweight champion who will be making that two-weight division jump to super middleweight, trying to take the belts off of one of boxing's most storied champions. Canelo will be seeking his record-setting third successful defense of that WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO world titles. Do you know, in this four-belt era, no undisputed champion has done that. While Charlo, attempting to become just the third fighter in the four-belt era to become undisputed in multiple weight divisions, joining the likes of Clarissa Shields and, of course, Terrence Bud Crawford. And keep in mind, Charlo also has the opportunity to become the first fighter to jump multiple divisions en route to his second undisputed championship. The particulars, when it comes to tickets, they're limited. They are available, though, at AXS.com for this Canelo Promotions presentation of a Premier Boxing Champions pay-per-view event. This entire event is being promoted by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions as well. Showtime pay-per-view broadcast, it's going to begin at a special early time at 8 o'clock Eastern. That is 5 o'clock Pacific time here in Las Vegas. You can purchase the fight as well through a live stream at showtime.com/PPV and the Showtime app as well. The fight goes down this Saturday, September 30th, here in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, and it is produced by the destination for the best in boxing, and that is Showtime pay-per-view. Let me bring to the podium here one of the co-promoters of this fight. He's the president of TGB Promotions, Tom Brown.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Undisputed versus undisputed. I love saying that all week, and I love the sound of that. Saturday night at the T-Mobile, we have a historic matchup between reigning and undisputed champions in two different weight divisions, fighting for the first time ever in the four-belt era. You know, and I always like the Fight Week press conference so much more than the opening press conferences. With only a few days to go, everyone's a bit edgy. The fighters have just come out of camp. They're focused. They're laser sharp. I mean, just look at these two guys. They're ready for Saturday night. It's fight time. Canelo Alvarez is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world today. He's a superstar in our sport, and he's the face of boxing. And Jermell Charlo, as Brian said, the first ever undisputed 154-pound world champion in the four-belt era, now looking to become undisputed in two weight divisions. And what a pay-per-view card we have. We'll get into the pay-per-view undercard press conference tomorrow, but just as a fan, I cannot wait for Saturday night. Get your tickets early, purchase the pay-per-view, sit back and enjoy the night, because this really is a special fight. Undisputed versus undisputed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Let me bring to the mic guy who has led this network, talking about Showtime Boxing, to one of the greatest years this network has seen. He's certainly a guy who believes in the mantra, delivering mega fight after mega fight. He's going to give you all the details, the particulars, the programming surrounding the televised pay-per-view portion of the evening. He's the president of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. Welcome to Vegas, everyone. You know, it feels like deja vu all over again. We're back here at the MGM Grand, another big fight at T-Mobile, another historic matchup between the biggest fighters in the sport, the biggest stars in combat sports. And of course, it's on Showtime pay-per-view, and of course it feels like deja vu, because as Brian pointed out, that's what we've been doing all year, that's what we've been doing for years. This is the 20th Showtime boxing event of 2023. Without question, the strongest schedule in the sport. In fact, over the last 6 years, 2017 to 2023, Showtime has done 156 live boxing events. That's an average of 26 a year. In other words, every 2 weeks on average, Showtime's giving boxing fans high-quality boxing year in, year out. That's what we do, leading the industry in quality fights. But this Saturday in particular, we have a special one, a historic matchup featuring the biggest star in the sport in an exciting fight. The type of fight that breaks through to the mainstream, attracts non-boxing fans the world over. Intriguing matchup of personalities, two fighters with great skills, great chins. In 63 fights, 472 rounds, Canelo Alvarez has never been knocked down. In 37 fights, 256 rounds, Jermell has been knocked down once, a flash knockdown early in his career. These are two elite fighters. This will be Canelo's 7th appearance on Showtime. We did his first pay-per-view event 10 years ago. He's been a pro 18 years, fought 13 undefeated fighters. He's defeated 18 world champions. We can go on and take up the rest of the hour in this press conference with his resume, but you know it as well as all of the boxing fans. Jermell Charlo will be making his 16th appearance on Showtime. He's undefeated on the network, 14-0-1. And in his last 11 fights, he's had 15 knockdowns. And during those 11 fights, he's become the undisputed champion of the world. So his caliber of competition has been steadily rising, and yet his power remains. It will be an all-action fight, and as Tom said, it will be supported by one of the strongest pay-per-view undercards in years. 50-50 meaningful fights, exactly what the fans have asked for. But let's not get it messed up here. This isn't just a fight. This isn't just a boxing match. This is special. This is different. This is the best the sport has to offer. This is as good as it gets. Calling Canelo versus Charlo a fight is like calling filet mignon meat. It's like calling LeBron James a basketball player or calling The Godfather just a movie. This is special. This is different. When you drive down the street, you see a lot of cars. And there are cars, and then there are Bugattis, there are Lamborghinis, there are Koenigsbergs. Not all of them are the same. Not all boxing is the same. Not all combat sports is the same. No, what we're doing here on Saturday night, what's been going on all year, is special. It's different. It's not the same old boxing. It's not like the others. And no disrespect to anyone, but there are levels to this. And what we're doing here is the highest level of the sport. This is a historic matchup. Truly elite, undisputed champion against another elite, undisputed champion. This is special. It's different. The event on Saturday night will generate a gate of over $20 million. That's a rare feat in combat sports. It's rare in concerts or events of any kind. But this will be the third time in the last 6 months that we've done a gate of $20 million. Again, our third $20 million gate in the last 6 months. To put that in perspective, UFC has never done a gate of $20 million in its entire history. We've done it 3 times since April. Like I said, this is special. This is different. There's nothing else going on in combat sports that matches this type of event. We have to enjoy this event. We need to savor it. This is the best our sports has to offer. If you haven't already, I encourage you to check out episodes 1 and 2 of All Access. We got some great access with both fighters. We thank them and their camps. you truly see a different perspective on each of them. And of course, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you Saturday night.
Thank you, Stephen. It's time to hear from the fight camps, hear from the fighters. Let me acknowledge here to my left, at the end of the table there, he's Jermell Charlo's co-trainer, the former two-weight division world champion, Mr. Juan Guzman. Coming to the podium now, 2022 Boxing Writers, Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year, Derek James.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say that it's a very special event because, as they said, undisputed versus undisputed. It's going to take a great Canelo Alvarez to bring out an even better Jermell Charlo. I'm looking forward to Jermell being great and becoming the super middleweight undisputed champ of the world. And he'll be the first guy, as Brian said, to be undisputed champ of the world at the same time in two divisions. So everybody, come out, get your tickets. It's going to be a great night of boxing. Thank you.
One of the unique things about this fight, you got two of the best fighters in the world. You also have two of the greatest trainers in the world as well. Because coming to the podium now, he's not only the head trainer, but also the manager of Canelo Alvarez, two-time Trainer of the Year. In fact, the latest was in 2021, Mr. Eddie Reynoso. Martin Bader will do the translation.
Buenas tardes. Pues ya contentos de estar aquí otra vez en Las Vegas. Una pelea muy importante para nosotros.
We're happy to be here in Las Vegas once again. This is a very important fight for us.
Tenemos enfrente un gran peleador, un peleador que ha ganado los 4 cinturones también, un peleador que tiene un gran equipo y que tiene muchísimas cualidades boxísticas.
We're facing a great opponent, someone that's undisputed as well with all 4 belts. He possesses a great team behind him, and his boxing skills are also very, very good.
Hicimos un gran campamento, un gran trabajo durante más de 3 meses en total. Estuvimos 2 meses en la altura. Hicimos un gran trabajo. No hubo ninguna complicación de nada. Hicimos lo mejor que se pudo hacer. Teníamos muchísimo tiempo en que no trabajamos de esa manera.
We spent 3 months training for this fight, 2 of them in the altitude, and no setbacks whatsoever, fortunately. And it had been a while since we had trained like this so intensely.
Por alguna razón ajena a nuestra disciplina, lesiones, alguna otra cosita que se nos presentó por ahí, pero para esta vez, créanme que venimos enfocados, venimos al 100%, venimos con todas las capacidades que tiene el Canelo.
We have left behind the injuries and all the setbacks that we had before. Now we're 100% and ready to show that Canelo is going to put on a great fight for the fans.
Y el sábado lo vamos a demostrar. Estamos muy motivados y de regresar otra vez aquí a Las Vegas y a una pelea grande y pues esperamos que la disfruten. Muchísimas gracias.
We're very motivated to come back here for a great fight in Las Vegas, and we're going to prove to you just how motivated we are by giving the fans a great show, a great fight, and we hope that you enjoy it.
Gracias.
Let me bring to the mic one of boxing's pound-for-pound best. You've heard him been described as a unique combination of knockout power, sublime boxing skills. He is the undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world. He's known as the Iron Man. He fights under the Lions Only promotion banner, Jermell Charlo.
What's up? So we finally made it to this moment. I gotta be just more than blessed and thanks and appreciative of everything that has took forward. Training camp was tough. Training camp was really hard, and I had to focus in a lot different. Canelo is a different type of fighter that you just don't, take for granted. He's done everything in the sport of boxing. He has nothing to prove, everything to gain to me. And so with that being said, I have so much on my plate. And in order for me to continue this legacy at its finest, I have to be well equipped with every tool that come in the box. And so with that, I know for a fact that the fans win Saturday night. We put on a hell of a performance, and you'll see us back again for a rematch, because I'm leaving no tables turn. And this is my moment. I'm going to enjoy it. I represent the Charlos, man. I'm one of them Charlo twins. I'm one of them Lions only guys. Yeah, we said a lot of things, and we backed it up. Well, I know I have. And so it is what it is. Respect, all of those things that people seeing in the intelligent person and the calm. At this moment of your life, you're supposed to be like that. I hope someone else get this opportunity, But right now, this is my turn. This is my moment, and I proceed. Thank y'all.
Finally, coming to the podium, boxing's biggest superstar, pound-for-pound great, future Hall of Famer. You've heard it. He's beaten 18 world champions. He is the first undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and support. I appreciate it. I feel great. I feel ready for this fight. And yes, Jermell is right. I have nothing to prove. But especially this time, I have something to prove to him, because he never believed in my skills. He always calling me out and never believed in my skills. And now I have the opportunity to show him my skills, and that's motivate myself. I had a really great camp, and I'm ready to show everybody my skills, my real skills. Thank you. See you Saturday night.
Guys, let's talk about this fight. Canelo, I'll start with you because you just mentioned it. I know you mentioned it in All Access. You just said it here. One of the things motivating you in this fight is that Charlo doesn't respect, you said, your boxing skills. If that's the case, what is Jermell Charlo going to find out about your boxing skills on Saturday night?
Yeah, I always train 100%. I always motivate myself, but in this fight, especially more, because I have this motivation. He never believed in my skills. He always called me out, and I'm ready to show him in a couple of days.
What's the bigger motivation for you in this fight? Is it proving Charlo wrong when he talks about your boxing skills, or maybe proving some of the assembled media who've written Canelo's lost a step? Maybe he's not the best fighter.
You never prove anything to the people. They always have something to say. I just wanna to prove myself and to prove myself. I'm still in the top.
Jermell, your response to Canelo when he talked about you not respecting his boxing skills?
I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? If he feel that I come to win this fight, so no matter what he say, I come to win this fight. You believe in your skills or not? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that don't believe in you. But we shall see Saturday. If that's what that's his motive and that's his motivation to prove about some skills, so well be it. I'm coming to win.
You're looking to defy the odds, Mel. You'd be the first time for you fighting over 154 pounds. First time fighting in 16 months. Obviously, you had to rehab that left hand.
moving up 2 weight classes, and given all of that, what gives you your biggest confidence that you're going to defy the odds and beat Canelo Alvarez on Saturday?
Because I defined the science of boxing. And I was one of the guys from the younger era, and I've fought at my whole life, you know what I'm saying? And what I've been through in life, I feel like, it did, a lot of people can't compare that, and he's never been through that. So moving up 2 weight divisions, coming off of injuries, doing this and doing that, I feel like I deserve to be in my position. And now this is the time I get to prove my skills and my worthiness.
Canelo, there have been a number of guys who have called you out because they want to fight you. And then they get in the ring and they find out that moment is really big. And now they're in a fight with Canelo Alvarez. So what is Jermell Charlo going to find out Saturday night?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say what he's going to find. He's going to feel it. He's going to feel it. It's hard to say and explain. It's something different. And he's going to realize in Saturday night it's something different. He never used to be with a fighter like me.
Mel, you heard that? Saturday night you're going to find out there's something different. You've never been in the ring with a fighter of his stature and his skills. Your response?
That's what I'm here for. And that's what I'm made for. I'm a warrior. I did what I had to do. Now we at this moment. So I feel like, Canelo never seen a fighter of my caliber. And I know he's seen a lot of fighters. Yeah, he's been in a fight with great fighters. But it's just something that I bring to the table that's a lot different than a lot of other fighters that he's been in the ring with. And so we share the ring on Saturday, and this is going to be one of the most attention-grabbing, sparking moments. And I appreciate everything that's going on right now, and I appreciate Canelo for accepting me, the little brother, the little Charlo. But little Charlo come to fight. Little Charlo come to win.
In the All Access episode, Canelo said his experience, his power will be the difference in this fight. What do you say?
Don't overlook mine. Don't overlook my experience. Don't overlook my power. And don't overlook my skills.
Canelo, your response. He says, don't overlook his power. Don't overlook his experience.
I never did. And I never do with any fighter. I know what he's going to bring, and I'm ready. Believe me. I'm being in the ring with all kind of fighters.
Not Jermell Charlo.
Yeah, you don't, brother. You don't know. You don't experience this kind of level of fight. You will see, and you will learn.
You had a great opportunity, and you have fought some of the great. You fought some of the best in the world. That's cool.
Yeah.
We know. I understand that. Everybody in the world knows you fought the best fighters in the world.
You have a lot of skills, but I don't mind on that. You have a lot of skills. But
you do too. You got some skills.
This is different, and you will see.
All right.
If you would, Jermell, I'll start with you. For all of these people who've assembled here, all the people coming to this fight, watching all over the world, you tell us why they need to tune in to Showtime pay-per-view on Saturday night and why Jermell Charlo is going to win that fight.
Because I'm ready for whatever. I'm a motherfucking lion. I'm a lion.
Canelo Alvarez, you about to get in the ring with a lion. You tell these people why they need to tune in to Showtime pay-per-view and why Canelo Alvarez is going to win this fight Saturday night.
I just tune in because it's gonna be a great fight, and I don't know what animal I need to say to be the lion, but whatever, I'm that animal. Just tune in the fight. September 30 is gonna be good. Believe me.
I got to ask you both for this. You both have the opportunity to make history. What does that mean to you? Start with you, Mel.
It means amazing. It means everything. You know, make history. That's what it seemed like. That's what it's all about. And you know, we'll come back to these moments later in life when we older and come back to this and enjoy it. So right now, it's just living in the moment. Keep turning these chapters, and so will be it.
Canelo, we'll wrap it up with you. You do have the opportunity. Third successful defense. No one has ever done that as an undisputed champion, defended their titles for 3 times. You keep making history. What does that mean to you?
No, it means a lot because that's all I want for my career. I want history. I want to achieve a lot of things in my career. This is one of that.
Folks, it is Saturday, September 30th. Undisputed versus undisputed. You've got Canelo Alvarez, Jermell Charlo. It is Showtime pay-per-view, 8 o'clock Eastern. That is 5 o'clock Pacific time. Don't miss it. Gentlemen, let's have one last face-off before we end this.
What's up, man? Jermell, can you grab your belts and strap up? Canelo, grab yours, all but the ring belt, not the ring belt. Just the fighters first. Guys, just the fighters first. Guys, you can hold together. Look down here. Right here first, guys. Down in front of you. Facing back, guys. Top of the back. All right, gentlemen. Please face off.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of the sport pound for pound best. Undisputed versus undisputed. The winner takes home 4 of the belts. Canelo Alvarez, the big Suboxy, taking on Jermell Charlo.
It's broken, yeah. All right, guys, everyone nice and tight. Everyone together right here first, please. Hey, Derek, everyone together right here, please. All right, guys, cameras in the back. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. All right, Canelo, close you guys. Okay, showtime, guys.
And there you have it. Canelo Alvarez, Jermell Charlo facing off this week here at the press conference inside the MGM Grand. Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell back with you. And Luke, your biggest takeaway from this one, finally got a little, took the Band-Aids off. We finally started talking here.
Is it my imagination, or did you feel like, again, it's not one or the other, it's more of a dial, right, turning up the dial, that Canelo seemed a little angry. Charlo seemed about as motivated as I remember, maybe a little bit more animated. Canelo seemed a little bit, bitter's not quite the right word.
It's getting real now. It's getting real. We're days away from
acknowledging what he thought was disrespect about his own skills for a long time. I had not heard that at the New York presser at all, in fact. This was the first time I've actually heard Canelo air some of these grievances. It was interesting to change for us.
We're going to be sitting with both fighters very shortly for one-on-one interviews here. And I couldn't be more fired up, as it seemed like a message was sent in this press conference from Jermell Charlo. He's a lion, and he is here to win. Let's see what Canelo Alvarez has for him this Saturday night inside T-Mobile Arena. And we have him right here, the 4-division champion, the Mexican icon, Canelo Alvarez. I want to congratulate you on one thing we were talking about. It was 10 years ago last month that you fought Floyd Mayweather here in one of the biggest fights in boxing history, you're still on top. We got to give you that credit.
Yeah.
What's the secret to this
Discipline.
level of longevity?
Discipline. You know, that fight helped me a lot because, you know, maybe it's not the correct time to win the best fighter, right? At the age of 23. And that I realized maybe that's not my time. But then I say, you know, I'm going to be the best one day. And that motivates myself and discipline. And when you love what you do, is all about.
How's your hand? I think your hand was it. What did they do to your hand, and how was the rehabilitation for it?
Rehab, making it strong, you know, rehabilitation, that all kind of stuff, and I feel great.
And was it our imagination, or did you dial up some of the? I don't know. Like when we were at the New York press conference, it was fairly cordial. This one was cordial as well, but a little bit more intensity this time. You were bringing up some issues with him.
I don't like being fake, you know, because he's calling me out a lot of times, and he talking shit about me before and this and that, and here is like all calm and this and that. And this kind of fights motivate myself because, yes, I have nothing to prove to the people maybe, but I have something to prove to him. He never believed in my skills, and now I have the opportunity to show why I'm one of the best.
Canelo, for Jermell, clearly this is the biggest fight of his career and a chance to get closer to the level that you're on, top of the sport. No disrespect to what kind of history Jermell can make. But what does this matchup specifically mean to you?
No, he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. No, for nothing. He's undisputed champion in 154. He's a great fighter. Nothing. I don't say he's not a great fighter, but I just motivate because he's one of the guys calling me out for a long time, and that motivates myself because now I have the opportunity to show him why I'm in the top.
All right, let's talk about his skills. You gave him respect at the dais. You did it right here. You know what this guy's all about. He's the undisputed champion as well. What about his skill set do you have to prepare the most for?
Everything. He knows how to box. He's strong. He is counterpunch fast and strong. So he have a lot of abilities. But you know, I'm being in the ring with all kind of fighters, and I'm ready for this.
What would you say, if you thought about it, was his best win?
I think have a lot of good wins with Harrison, Castaño. A lot of good wins.
Would you say that any of those guys, none of them are on your level? That we know. But do any of them bear any similarities to you?
No.
No, none at all.
Nobody.
Fair enough.
This is Big Red right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
listen, I understand. I had to ask.
Top of the pops. When you look at what Charlo was talking about, the idea that I'm a lion, I'm coming to win, do you sense a different spirit than the normal opponents you see, that maybe this guy is extra dangerous because of that will inside?
No. They have confidence and they have that enthusiasm to win. I know. And I've been with all kind of that motivate, but fighters. But, you know, when they step in the ring and start feeling, it's different.
I have to say, I have to commend you. Your English has gotten fantastic. I know it's not easy
I try my best
to do interviews in a different language. You've come a really long way.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you try to speak a lot and answer a lot of questions. It's a little hard, but, you know, I try my best and I make mistakes, but that's when you learn from mistakes.
Let me ask you, I know obviously you're laser focused on Saturday, but you must hear Bud Crawford out there still making noise about really wanting you after this. Is that still on the table?
Everybody wants to fight me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So it's the same.
But is he closer to the top of the potential list of contenders?
You know, like he's saying, nobody's going to give him credit to fight Gervonta Davis if he beat him, right? It's the same for me. But, you know, if the fight makes sense, why not?
Doable, potentially doable.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, look, this division is on fire to begin with. When we now adding Jermell Charlo's name, and there's so many big fights on the horizon if you win this. But how do you win this? Because the one thing you keep saying to Jermell is it is different when you get in there with me. Why will it be different for Jermell Charlo? Why are you not the same as Castaño, Harrison, Trout?
It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. It's a feeling. you feeling when you step in the ring with me is different. I'm different fighter. I'm different animal in the ring.
That T-Mobile crowd's going to have your back as well, I suspect, yeah?
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's Canelo Alvarez, your undisputed super middleweight champion. Just another night in Las Vegas for him Saturday night. Undisputed versus undisputed. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Canelo. Appreciate your time.
Got a little bit spicier today as we continue on to fight week here. Just a few days out. It is officially fight week from the Tuesday grand arrival to today's press conference. Let's not forget the undercard press conference on Thursday, the final weigh-in on Friday. And you can just feel the energy building for that undisputed versus undisputed showdown that we are so excited about. Canelo versus Charlo. And Luke, we're partnering with DraftKings Sportsbook to up the stakes for this showdown. Right now, new customers who bet $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings app and use our promo code MAINEVENT. That's promo code MAINEVENT only on DraftKings. We talked about, hey, every fight you're going to have an odds makers. You're going to have a line. Canelo, he's in a little bit more of the power position as the favorite. Jermell is coming up to him. But answer this question for me. How live of a dog is Jermell Charlo when we're talking about betting odds here?
Well, listen, it's an uphill climb. I don't think that's in any way an unfair statement, but I do think he's a pretty good live dog here. The weight and the size difference is hard to parse as some kind of distinct advantage for Canelo. He's a huge monster puncher. He's experienced himself. Again, doesn't have 60-plus fights, but has good experience against very good fighters in main events over a long period of time. And this is, as we've talked about all week and really leading up to this fight, this is his moment to ascend to that place of glory that he's been waiting for. I'm looking forward to see what happens on Saturday night.
Jermell Charlo has built much of his great career up to this point, chasing that man, Canelo Alvarez. But Lions only time, Jermell joins us right here. Jermell, let's start off here. Your attitude on All Access at the press conferences here today, while a little tighter and edgier today, it's been business. It's been almost like a hitman mentality that I'm here to work on Saturday night above all. Tell me what's going on up here.
Hey, just time to go. You know, got to go in there and prove to the world, prove to a bunch of doubters and a bunch of people that, you know, don't expect me to do well. So this is what it's about, and this is for fun fights.
Walk me through what you have on here. You've got all of your belts on the side here.
Yeah,
Whose
man.
idea was that?
Man, you know, I got a good team and the good people around me. I always wanted, you know, to eventually get the belts and put them on. I damn near wanted to do this to my cars. I got just as many or more cars than this, but you know, I decided to uniform it out, and you know, Team Savage and Lions Only. You know, we've been rocking for a long time. These guys are creative.
What is it you think that Canelo maybe doesn't understand about your abilities, about your ability to rise to the occasion?
I just think that Canelo thinks that coming up from 154, you know, he's fighting a smaller guy or maybe a lighter puncher, and that he'll just be able to walk through these shots, or I don't know. You know, I don't know what's in his head. You know, like, I'm no tune-up, I'm no step around. You know, it's the reason why they saying undisputed versus undisputed, king versus king.
It did feel like you wanted to send the message to him that, like, I may be different than some of your other opponents. Like, I'm coming to win this fight.
I said that. Yeah, I said that. I know that he fought some good fighters. You know, like I gave him respect for that. You know, I give Canelo his respect in the game of boxing. Sure. He did an awesome job, and he packs a great crowd. He has the Mexico and all of the Mexicans in America and the Mexicans around the world tuning in and coming to the fights, and it's just things like that that bring, you know, the best out of him. And so, you know, they can't fight for you though. You know what I mean? So, you know, style make fights.
Let's talk about the weight. Yeah, we saw on All Access, you want it to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, but you still want to keep your speed, want to keep your footwork. Mm-hmm. Was it weird adjusting to the weight? And I guess my bigger question on top of that is, are you going to be at 168 or a little bit less?
Man, I think I'm going to be weigh in at 168.
Wow.
And I'll be at a decent weight after just rehydrating even more or better. But it's about being fast and using your speed and your skills. And
all right, let me ask you a stylistic question. When we look at the copy box numbers, both you and Canelo throw 10 punches less average per round than the average super middleweight, but you're both very efficient counterpunchers. Somebody might have to take the lead, though, and lead the dance with the jab. Is that going to be your role in this fight?
It could be his, you know. I can't give you my game because I don't even think you're rocking with me.
Oh,
so
I'm actually team
I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
He has been rocking with you.
You ain't been rocking with me.
Yeah. This guy's always looking the other way.
I don't discount your ability to win.
Let me tell you, lion, snake.
Oh, get out of here with that.
Possibly. No.
Get out of here with that.
I ain't worried about who rocking with me or who not. That don't make me fight better. That don't make me fight harder. I know when it's time to fight, I got to get in there and fight.
But the win, if you get that win on Saturday, this is not just the biggest win of your career. This makes everything, does it not? It cements you for all time.
And of course, and it defines my career at the moment. So it'll let me know, it's about testing my ability, testing who I am. I want to test my skills and what I bring to the ring and what I've done in boxing. I got a family to feed. And so when you got opportunity like this, you take it. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter when it comes. This is a dream. This is something that I always wanted. And now it's here. It don't matter when it approaches. I'm 2 weight divisions down. He moved up, but who know why he moved up?
What is your biggest takeaway from the Bivol, third Triple G, and Ryder fight? What do you see in there? You see the same Canelo, or?
Yeah, I don't think that's important to be. Every style make fight, so you can't judge off of what he did in these fights or what made it this and this and that. A lot of people talk about the jab, and a lot of people talk about the lateral movement, and a lot of people talk about what he done, and I believe that Canelo sometimes needed these type of fights, and that makes him better. I think he's at his best right now.
Do you have to beat Canelo twice? If you beat him, is this an instant rematch?
Did y'all not hear me? I mentioned about a rematch because I win this fight. I got a rematch.
Well, I was going to say, how much are you looking forward to the future? You're confident you're going to win this. If you win this, it could be Canelo again. You could get Crawford at 54 or 68. You could get Benavidez. The world would be your oyster. Yeah. You have to stop yourself from looking ahead.
Well, we would have to stay focused on the prize at the moment, and because that's what's important. So after get this victory, I go in and you instantly start talking numbers to me. Throw the bag at me.
The layoff, 16 months.
Don't mean nothing.
Tell me why.
Because every fighter gets in a ring and spar, train. What ring rust? I thought the ring rust was out whenever you first got the few weeks in the sparring in. So how could ring rust after a long training camp and all of these weeks of training and hardcore this and that, how could ring rust even play an effect in any boxer? I just don't believe in the subject of ring rust.
Right.
And 16 months of this and that. I mean, if you paid attention to the career and how El Heyman has operated, I must be doing something right with fighting, not as much as Canelo or who's more preserved. All of these things play an effect. 16 months don't mean nothing.
15 knockdowns in his last 11 fights. He's coming in here as more than an underdog, more than a live dog. This is going to be a real one Saturday. Undisputed versus undisputed. Jermell, best of luck to you, man. We can't wait. Great to see you at this point. You've earned it. Congratulations for everything.
Keep rocking with the Lions, baby.
Believe that. Yeah. Believe that. Jermell Charlo here and Luke Thomas. I could not be more fired up after talking to these two great champions. We got a chance to go a little bit deeper in their minds. Any takeaways from the two Jets?
Well, one, you threw me under the bus for no reason. That was fun.
Finally, I'm getting the Team Charlo love. I was a public enemy number one for years.
After they've hung up on you multiple times in interviews. Yeah, listen, the intensity is way dialed up. I was just going to say on the Canelo side, but now having Charlo sit here, I'm going to say on both sides. They seem clear about the purpose. They seem clear about the goal. They seem, from what I can tell, clear about the challenge as well, and clear about their own abilities to make good on their promises. They don't see any way it ends other than for their own hand being raised. Of course, only one can win. I don't know. I got to tell you, this was definitely a ratcheting up of the tensions that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but it's here, fight week.
We mentioned our partnering with DraftKings. Does this fight go the distance or not? That's something we really haven't talked about.
Okay, so if I had to make a guess, I'm going to say yes, but that will be one of the most interesting questions. Canelo never been down in his career. Charlo just barely early on, but since then he's fought against the very best guys. They couldn't put him down. In fact, he was the one putting them down. It's going to be interesting to see.
Can Charlo's power carry up? Will his chin carry up with him? Or will we find a renewed Canelo Alvarez, age 33, openly saying, I had the hand injury, but you guys will see it is a different level. That's also part of Canelo's speech heading in. But let's get fired up for Saturday night. Special start time of 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's Canelo versus Charlo. You can go to SHOWTIME.com/PPV right now to order the pay-per-view. Hey, maybe invite a couple friends over, crack a couple cold ones. Hey, this is going to be a good one. Don't forget, though, to set the stage for Saturday, Luke Thomas, myself, 5:30 p.m. in the East on the Showtime Sports YouTube channel, we are presenting Showtime Pay-Per-View Countdown. Not only will we set the stage, maybe some special guests, and get you fired up for the pay-per-view, but 3 fights, including heavyweight contender Frank Sanchez, the unbeaten. How about former light heavyweight title holder Alexander Vodzik? A good triple header coming your way to set the stage here, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Final thoughts here, Luke. We got a couple more days to build to this. Satellite interviews tomorrow, undercard press conference, the weigh-in on Friday. We ratcheted it up a little bit. Friday's going to be outdoors, Toshiba Plaza, outside of T-Mobile. Anyone that has seen the response of late, Tank versus Ryan had the outdoor weigh-in there. It was on electric, on fire. You could not see how far the crowds were lined up. Friday could be something special when the electricity gets raised.
Yeah, Spence Crawford, I was here for that one. That was indoors because it was in July. It was really hot. It's going to be a little bit more mild, but I don't think that face-off is going to be mild on Friday at all. I'm really loving the intensity they're bringing. They're not bad-mouthing each other in that way. They're not insulting each other's mothers. They're not doing anything crazy or very Jerry Springer-esque. But what they are doing is drawing a line in the sand and saying, you will not cross. But I can't wait to see what happens on Saturday.
We are, of course, the co-hosts of Morning Combat, the Showtime Sports award-winning digital series, all things boxing and MMA. We come at you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we will have continued live coverage here on the ground in Las Vegas. Don't miss Friday's episode, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. A couple special guests flying by maybe as we continue to set this stage with some celebrity power there as we get you fired up and ready for all things Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo. But that wraps it up here. The final press conference of these two great champions, undisputed versus undisputed. For Luke Thomas, my name is Brian Campbell. Enjoy the fights this Saturday. It's going down in the high desert, high stakes, and we're expecting a classic. Canelo versus Charlo. We'll see you on Saturday night.
To on top in the hills.
My fan base is the culture, so I'm gonna bring that urban culture.
Stacking high, it ain't props, nah, it's real.
He is king of the jungle at 154 pounds.
I feel like there's so many doubters and people not really understanding what I bring to the ring. This is my moment to make non-believers believers.
Athletes stumbling forward. Gets one with that sweeping right. Statement made by Iron Man, Jermell Charlo. Oh, Charlo just dropped Lubin. Jermell Charlo has just vanquished Erickson Lubin in the first round. The way I write myself, own lane, self-made, own boss, self-paid. I don't make excuses, I just make ways. From the block to on top in the hills. Oh, wow, down goes Rosario. Charlo has Castano, hard in the 10th. Charlo closes the show.
And now, the undisputed champion of the world, Jermell Charlo.
A lot of people didn't believe the Charlo twins are what they said they are. It's a thrill, so go prove all the haters and the doubters wrong. Undisputed is when you really can consider yourself the king. I want to be the greatest in the game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now set to meet our main events of fighters. He is a 4-division world champion, Schaub Canelo Alvarez.
I feel the love, the support from my people.
The undisputed junior middleweight champion, Jermell Iron Man Charlo. You need to go up 2 weight classes. You didn't think twice. Why is that?
Because there's no question. The world think Canelo the best in the world, right? I feel like I'm the best in the world.
Now it's my turn. It's my time.
He have nothing to lose. He come in my weight division to come for everything.
And it's my moment, and I'm going to shine when it's time for it.
I'm being in this position for a long time, and I'm ready.
I do this for the dogs, the hungry ones. I do it for the animals. I'm made for this.
I can say a lot of things, but I want to show you Saturday.
After I beat Canelo, they'll be screaming, Charlo, Charlo. You did.
You're going to see a different Canelo Saturday night.